Hello, I'm Richard Vobes, the Bald Explorer, out on another walk. I'm in Eastbourne. That is Eastbourne Pier. I haven't been to Eastbourne for a long time, and I'm very thrilled to be here, but I'm not actually here to see the pier. That rhymed. I'm actually here to meet a man who has walked further than I've ever walked, I think, especially around this wonderful and glorious country, and that is Jim Hawkins. He's waiting here to say hello. Hello, Jim.
Yeah, good morning to you, Richard. How are you?
You are an amazing man.
Well, thank you very much.
I can't have you standing still, so
No,
we are going to walk.
Thank you very much.
If that's all right.
Yeah, of course.
You have been walking the coastal path around Britain.
Yes.
Or I suppose England. You've cut out England and Wales. Is that right so far?
It's England and Wales at the moment, but it will become Scotland.
It will be Scotland
next year. Yeah.
Yes.
Well, at the end of this year, I'll be going up to do the Scotland leg. Yes.
And I should point out, this is a continuous walk.
Yes.
It's not like you nipped out and done a little bit and then gone home a week later, nipped out and done any more.
No.
So the obvious question is, why?
Well, there's several reasons really, and first of all, my wife and I, we used to live abroad, and we came back to look after my father-in-law, who was 94, had a heart attack, and this was the result of an awful lot of walking I was doing during that period when we lived in Grimsby, and
That's up north, for those that don't know.
It's by the River Humber, and I thought, well, I'm 70 years old this year, it'd be very interesting to do something different, and so I embarked on this, and not knowing how far I was going to get, and by the time I reached Dover, which is less than, I don't know, 50 or 60 miles away, I've actually covered 3,000 miles in this year.
Good heavens. Now, not only are you walking the coastal path and taking in the wonderful country, well, that's at the coastal side, I suppose.
Yes.
But you're also vlogging this, or you're recording it on video on a daily basis.
Yes.
And putting up 30 to 40 minutes of footage, which you've edited, which just seems, knowing that I do 10 minutes, it seems a colossal amount of work, as well as having walked, 15 or 20 miles a day?
Yes.
How do you do it?
I sometimes wonder, actually. I mean, some days are better than others, and as you'll know yourself, Richard, there's a kind of creativity about making videos and all this kind of stuff. And when you've just done like a 20-mile walk, you don't always fancy. You just, not because you're tired or stiff or anything, but you just want to relax, and you don't really want. I find the actual editing a lot harder than I do the walking, if you understand.
Yes.
And it doesn't necessarily have to be 40 minutes. I mean, the average seems to be around about that.
Because you're covering, I mean, whereas I just go to more or less one place and do 10 minutes and, it makes it sound incredibly easy. You're covering a whole day's walk.
Yes. Well, yes, because there's a beginning and an end, and if you think about the number of people who watch this, and I would suggest to you the majority of the people who watch this are actually walkers themselves that I've either met along the way, or people who want to watch a part of, as an example, they go onto YouTube to see the Southwest Coastal Path as an example. They can always find my day in which I walked a particular, as an example, from St Ives to Land's End. It's a 3-day section. They might want to look at that in detail.
Because one of the things that you do is that you do stop people and talk to them. I mean, I almost do the reverse and try to avoid people, I suppose, because I've got limited time.
Yes.
But having looked at your videos, it's absolutely lovely, because I don't know how you do that. You have a knack to be incredibly friendly, and people just seem very happy and and open to being interviewed and talked about where they're going and what they're up to.
Well, yes, and if we have the time, if not today, but in the future, if ever you fancy coming for a walk with me on one of these 10-mile walks or something like that, not all of it, but you'll find that there's a massive camaraderie between walkers. It's always the good morning, hello, where are you going? They're always there to help out, they're always there to give advice. And I was actually talking to some walkers on the pier this morning who just walked and they're quite exhausted today because they did 27 miles yesterday or something like this, and it was all about the problems you're going to get, and you're going to get some shingle beach like at Pevensey, and they're giving you some really good advice on parts to be careful of, go around that, or if there's any sort of good information.
Yes, of course.
And people ooze with friendliness. It's almost like a kind of a religion.
Yeah, I can
I made
see
some
that.
really nice friends from that as well. Very, very, very pleasant people that I bump into.
Yes.
And I've got to say, the older generation, when you think about the number of people who retire at 60, 65 or something, they've got a bit of cash in the pocket, they're looking for something new to do, and walking is probably one of the easiest, simplest things.
Yes, and the health,
it gets them out in the fresh air.
Yes, the health benefits. Now, you were telling me that you were size 34, you're now size 30, is that right? Round the waist?
Yes.
And to be honest, I'm surprised that the amount of walking, that you're not even slimmer than that, because
I don't think I could get any slimmer.
Well, there you go.
I've come down to about 11 stone, 11 and a half stone. And,
yes.
And this is just a natural fitness. I feel so much better. You can see this coat was the original one that I had.
Right. There's a lot of room in there.
There is a lot of room. Mind you, sometimes in the winter you need that extra room for
jumpers and stuff underneath.
Sorry,
my
my nose constantly dribbles. I'm sorry.
No, but what about your feet? This is something that I think people often hear when you go on a long walk. Oh, you'll get blisters, and all of this comes out.
Yes. Well, there's two things to do to anybody. Get some Vaseline and really rub loads and loads of Vaseline into your feet, into your toenails and ankles, and then put some thin white cotton socks on, and it feels awful, but it absorbs the.
Yes.
And then put your walking socks on the top. You won't get any blisters after
yes.
that. And when you, if you get an ordinary sort of bowl, fill it with hottish water, as hot as you can stand, and put some Listerine, which is
that you gargle with, don't you?
Put that in, swish it around, and put your feet in there for 10 minutes, and it brings them up like brand new.
Good heavens.
And I do that 2-3 times a week.
Let me just have a look at your walking boots then.
Yes.
How many boots have you got through? Have you had to have you worn them down to the soles?
It's almost like tyres, and the last 500 miles I change them every 500 miles. This is the 6th pair. Actually.
Oh, is it? Yeah. There we go.
And they're not too bad actually.
Yes.
And they're not expensive. I bought them from Decathlon. They're not 60, 70 quid jobs. I think these cost me about 15, 20 quid.
Well, when you're changing them so frequently.
Yeah, but precisely.
Yeah.
And, but they're comfortable. I like them, and I've worn these sort of. I would say on this whole walk, and I've been on this walk now for 387 days, I've only actually worn walking boots on 3 or 4 occasions when the conditions were that bad.
Yes.
The rest of the time I've worn trainers.
Let's do a little bit more walking then.
Yeah, sure.
We'll carry on along the Eastbourne promenade. We're sort of heading eastwards. Actually,
yes.
There's a very odd building behind us and the pier, etc. You've already walked this stretch, haven't you?
No, I finished at the pier the other day. Today I'm going to be walking from here to Hastings.
Oh, right. Oh, okay. So
yes.
We'll be going back. You'll be going back to your van.
That's all right. Yeah.
And you have to do it all over again.
Yeah, no, that's okay. Well, I'll need to take my van to Hastings first, and then get the bus back.
Yeah. So just tell us how this works, because you're not going from bed and breakfast to bed and breakfast. You're living in your van, but of course you've got a van, and you're walking. So that's the question that I suppose baffles most people, how you operate.
Well, it's a very simple formula, really. It's just, first of all, drive the van from A to B, like I'll drive it later to Hastings, I'll get a bus back from Hastings to here, and then I'll walk.
Yes.
But when you consider that, just supposing this is a 15-mile walk, by the time I've actually done it, driven the van 15 miles, got the bus back 15 miles,
yes.
and then done the walk, I've done actually 45 miles a day.
Yes,
so
and the bus journey itself can probably, some bus journeys might take longer than the actual walk.
Yes, I mean, in an area like this it's not so bad,
yes.
but in an area like Cornwall in the winter it was a headache at times.
Yes, I can imagine. There must be areas where the buses are almost non-existent.
Yes, I've had to get a taxi on the rare occasion, But there's a really good system, I'll tell you very quickly. In Cornwall, they have what they call the pasty connection, which is an internet-based thing on Facebook where you get one lot of people saying, can anybody give me a lift from A to B?
Right.
And you've got the other set of people who are saying, I'm travelling from A to B, does anybody want a lift? And so that came in very, very handy.
Yes,
and I met some wonderful people as well. And that's working a treat. It's worth checking out, the pasty connection.
The pasty connection.
Yes,
yeah.
These people are not just going locally, they're going, is anybody going to Manchester? Is anybody going to Croydon? Or,
yes, it's that sort of digital hitchhike, isn't it? Effectively.
Yes, it is indeed. Yeah, and again, it's growing and growing and growing in numbers, and they're talking about streamlining it. But I've heard of other places that would are interested in taking on something like that. I think that's fantastic.
Yeah, no, that's brilliant. Listen, Jim, I only do 10-minute videos.
All right, okay.
And so I've already run out. However, the great thing is you have been making your own videos and people can go and check them out. So I'm going to put the link to your videos, your YouTube channel, so people can start at the beginning or pick up wherever they want and follow you and find out how you go. I know you're raising money to help with your wife's operation, so people can help donate to that.
Yes.
And also, no doubt, help you with a bit of petrol money or diesel, whatever it is your van takes. But because it's such a short video of mine, I just have to say thank you so much for talking to me and meeting me. I know a number of my viewers were very keen that we got together.
Yes.
And I would love to take you up in the future and go on a 10-mile hike somewhere.
Absolutely, anytime.
And we'll video and do something. That would be great.
We'll go to that Dungeness again and see.
There you go.
See if we get a chances around it.
Check out the video when I went to Dungeness. The police came with machine guns. That's another story. Jim,
it's been wonderful meeting you.
Good luck.
I look
Good
forward
luck.
to
Keep
this.
in touch.
Yes, I will indeed.
Don't forget to check him out. Follow, like, subscribe on all the videos that I do, and I'll see you on the next one. Till then, I will wave you goodbye. Cheers, Jim.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you very much.
Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye. That's great.